Assalamu alaikum student. I'm your maths teacher from IYS school. Today we continue the previous chapter that is about quadrilateral. So first of all, I like to share some instruction that take a screenshot of every slide that will be shared and do all your work on your geometry copy. So we start a new chapter that is continue the previous chapter that is area of a rectangular region. And in this chapter, we will discuss area and volume of a quadrilateral or a rectangle. So quadrilateral, first we recall that what is quadrilateral? Quadrilateral just means four sides. So quads mean four and lateral means sides. Quadrilateral has four sides and it's two-dimensional. Two-dimensional means it has length and breadth. Or we can say that a flat shape is always two-dimensional. And it is a closed means the lines are joined up, there is no opening between the space, and has straight sides. So that is the definition of a quadrilateral. Now the properties of the quadrilateral. A quadrilateral has four sides, that is we also say that it has four edges and four vertices. Vertices mean corner. These are the four corners of the quadrilateral. Now the interior angle that add to 360 degree. So what is the meaning of interior angles? The angle which is formed inside the quadrilateral is considered as a interior angle, and it is formed by the two line segments or the two sides of a quadrilateral. So when we add all these four angles, it is always equals to the 360 degree. As you can see that we have two shapes. One is just like a square or a rectangle. So its angle are always 90 degree. And when we add the four angle 90 degree, so it will equal to 360 degree. And when we add a four-sided figure, which is not a square or a rectangle, it could be a parallelogram or any quadrilateral. So when we add the interior angles, it is equals to again 360 degree. Okay. And what will be the definition of a quadrilateral? It has four sides and four edges or four vertices. Now these are some types of quadrilateral which we have discussed in this chapter. So these quadrilaterals are parallelogram, rectangle and square. Okay. This is the parallelogram. And how do we know that it is a parallelogram? Because it has opposite four sides, and the opposite sides are parallel and congruent, equal in measure, and the opposite angles of a parallelogram are also congruent. And do remember that the opposite sides are also parallel, means they are at equidistance. Now the opposite angle of a parallelogram are also congruent. So opposite angle, the angle opposite to P is T and the angle opposite to Q is R. So they all again are congruent. And any two adjacent angle of a parallelogram are supplementary. Means the two adjacent angle, if the angle adjacent to P is angle R and P is also adjacent to Q. Adjacent means if it has common arm. Adjacent angle means the angle if the two angle which have common arm, so it is called adjacent angle. So the adjacent angle of angle P is angle R, and the adjacent angle of angle P is also angle Q because they have common arm. And that's why we say that any two adjacent angle of a parallelogram are supplementary. Supplementary means the sum is always equals to 180 degree. So when we add angle R to angle P or angle P to angle Q, so it equals to 180 degree. Similarly, when we add angle T with Q or T with R, so it is equals to 180 degree. Any two adjacent angle is always equals to supplementary. Now diagonal of a parallelogram bisect each other. As you can see that there is a diagonal of a parallelogram, and we indicates the two sides are with the same symbols. And why we do this? Because the two diagonals were bisect each other. Means at the intersecting point, the two diagonals are divided itself into two equal half. Okay. So that's why we can say that the measurement of PE is equals to measurement ET, and measurement RE is equals to measurement EQ. So they both are, all the sides are bisect each other, two diagonals are bisect each other. So parallelogram is a four-sided figure and we call it a quadrilateral. And you can see that here we have a rectangle and square, and all of three are four-sided figures, so we call it quadrilateral. Okay, parallelogram is further divided into another group that is about rectangle. So being a parallelogram means, I mean to say that rectangle is also a parallelogram. That's why rectangle follow all the properties of the parallelogram. Okay. As you can see, but it beside these four properties of a parallelogram, rectangle itself also have some properties. So what are the specific properties for the rectangle? And these are, all the sides of a rectangle are at 90 degree. Okay, all the angles of the rectangle are of 90 degree. As you can see that angle A, angle D, C, B, they all are of 90 degree. Okay. And the diagonal of a rectangle are congruent. Means the measurement of AC is the diagonal. So what is diagonal? The line segment that join the two opposite vertices are called diagonal. So that diagonal, that two diagonals are congruent. Means the measurement of AC is equals to the measurement of BD. So this is the rectangle, a specific definition of a rectangle. And do remember that being a parallelogram, rectangle also have a property of a parallelogram. Now, it's a square, and do remember it that a square has the properties of the parallelogram as well as the rectangle, but it also has some specific quantities to make it a square. And what are these properties? All the sides of a squares are congruent. Congruent means equal in measure. Means the measurement of AD and the measurement of DC, the measurement of BC and measurement of AB, they all are same. Okay, they are all are equal in measure or equal in length. And right angles, the angles of all the vertices are right angle. And bisectors, diagonals are also bisect each other, and they are also equal in measure, and they always form 90 degree with each other. Means the diagonals of a square are perpendicular to each other. You can see that if we measure that angle, so it is always 90 degree. Okay, if we measure this angle, it is always 90 degree. And if we measure this angle or this angle, all the angle which is formed at that point is 90 degree. Means they are perpendicular with each other. So that's why we say that the diagonals of a square are perpendicular to each other. Okay, now we are proceed further, and the next topic is area of rectangular region. So what is area? Area means the space covered by a surface is considered as a area. As you can see that we have drawn a rectangle here. So this is the space which is covered by that rectangle. So we call it area. Area of a rectangle can be given as if we multiply length of a rectangle to the breadth of the rectangle. And what is length? This side is considered as a length and the vertical side is considered as a breadth. Okay, the horizontal side is considered as a length and the vertical side is considered as a width or a breadth. So area of a rectangle can be given as by the product of length and breadth. You can also write width, you can also write breadth. Okay, so when we multiply these two values, we will get the total area which is covered by a rectangle. As you know that the area of a rectangle is length multiplied by breadth. So to find breadth, what we have to do? We have to transform the formula in terms of breadth. As you can see that length and breadth are multiplied with each other. So when we want to find the breadth, we don't have to shift the breadth from this side, but we have to shift the length from this side, from the right side to the left side. Because it's a rule that which is the required value or a quantity, so that quantity should be kept at a one side, and we have to shift the other quantities on the other side. So here we have to find a breadth. So we don't shift the breadth, we just shift the length. As you can see that length and breadth are multiplied with each other. So when we shift that length toward the next side or toward the left side, so what we have to do, we have to do its reciprocal. So the reciprocal of multiplication or the opposite operation of the multiplication is division. So when we shift it to the other side, we will divide it by the area. And the due to this shiftment, we will get the equation which is like that: breadth is equals to area divided by length. Okay, so that's how we can use the formula of our area in terms of breadth. Means if the area and length is given and we have to find a breadth, so what we have to do, we have to divide area by the length, so we get the breadth. Now to find the length, if the length of a rectangle region can be known, but the breadth in the area can be, if the length of a rectangular region is required and the breadth and area are given. So how we transform the area, formula of area into in terms of length? And again we have to consider that length is the required quantity. So we don't shift it, we shift the other quantities on the either side of the equation. So as you can see that length and breadth are multiplied with each other, and when we shift it to the other side, so we have to do the reverse operation of the multiplication, that is division. So here we have to shift the breadth from the one side to the other side, and it will divide it by the area, and the formula will become length is equals to area divided by breadth. So this is the transformation of area when the breadth is required and length is required. So take a screenshot of this side and we will move further. Here's an example of area of a rectangle. That here a rectangle has a length of 8 centimeter and a width of 3 centimeters. Okay, and find the area. So it's a rectangle, as in a given question we are discussing a rectangle, and in a rectangle length is given, that is 8 centimeter, and width is also given, that is 3 centimeter. So to find the area we have to use the formula of our area, and that formula is area is equals to length into breadth. So length is 8 centimeter and breadth is 3 centimeter. So when we divide both the values, the answer is 24 centimeter square. Okay, how we get a centimeter square? As you can see that length and breadth are the lengths. So we measure it in centimeter or a meter. So here we are dealing with the centimeters and we have to multiply them. So here we consider centimeter as a base, and the value of that centimeter, or we can say that the exponent of the centimeter here is 1, and here the exponent of the centimeter is also 1. So according to the law, when we multiply the two numbers, so their exponent will be add. So here the exponent is 1 and here exponent is also 1. So we multiply the 2 centimeters, and that's why we have to add their exponent. Okay, we are going to multiply the 2 centimeters. So when we are multiplying the two numbers, so the exponents will be add. So the exponent of centimeter is 1, and here the exponent of the centimeter is also 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. That's how we get a centimeter square. We read it as centimeter square. So take a screenshot. It will help you for doing your home task. Okay, now we consider example number 2. The area of a rectangle is 12 square meter and the breadth is 3 meter. So what is the length? Here we have a solution of area is equals to length into breadth. So area is given, that is 12, and breadth is also given, that is 3. But the required quantity is the length. So what we have to do, we don't shift the length, we just shift the other quantities to the other side of the equation. So we divide 12 by the 3. And due to this division, we get length is equals to 4 meter. Okay, 3 4s are 12, and that's why we get length is equals to 4 centimeter. So that's how we get the area, we get the length when the area and breadth is given. Take a screenshot and we will move to the next topic. Here is the next numerical question. A floor is 16 meter long and 12 meter wide. Find the total number of the tiles required to cover it if each tile is 0.3 meter long and 0.2 meter wide. So you can see that we have a area, formula of area is length into breadth. So area of a floor will become length and breadth. Okay, again consider the question that the length of the floor is 16 meter. Okay, and 12 is the breadth of floor. Okay, 16 is the length of the floor and 12 is the breadth of the floor. And now to find the total area of a floor, first we have to find the total area of floor because we want to know that how much area we have to cover. So to cover that area, we have to find, we must know that what is the total amount of area. So to find that, we will multiply 16, that is length, with the 12 meter, that is breadth. So when we multiply 16 into 12, so we get 192 meters square. And again, do remember that 16 is given in a meter and 12 is also given in a meters. So here we have to multiply two numbers, two values. So when the two values are multiplied, their exponent will be add. And that's why the exponent of the meter is 1 here and exponent of the meter is also 1. So when we add that exponent according to the law, so it will become meter square. So unit of the area is always in a square. Either we are using a centimeter, so it will become a centimeter square, or if we are using a meter, so it will become a meter square or a square meter. We can also say that. So that's how we get 192 square meter. Now, now we know the formula, now we know the area of a floor, that is 192 meter. That is the total area of the floor. It is the total area where we have to place the tiles. Okay. Now, find the total number of tiles required to cover it. Each tile is 0.3 meter long and 0.2 meter wide. So 0.3 meter is the length and 0.2 meter is the breadth or the width of the each tile, means one tile. It is the length and breadth of one tile. So first we have to find the total area of a tile, and then we can find that how much tile is required to cover that floor. So what we have to do, that first we have to find the area of a tile. To find the area of a tile, we will multiply length by the breadth. So what is the length of the tile? Yes, it is 0.3 meter long. So it is the length. And 0.2 meter wide, it is the breadth. So we multiply zero point 0.3 by 0.2 and the answer is 0.06 meter square. And again, why we have a square? Because here we are going to multiply two numbers where bases are same, so we add their exponents, and that's why we give it a meter square. And now if you look at here, area of the floor, we have find the area of the floor and we have find the area of a tile. So 192 is the total area which is covered by, which we have to covered by the number of tiles. But we don't know that how many tiles we have to we required to cover that area, which is 192 square meter. So what we have to do, we have to divide or multiply that area of a floor. We have to multiply that number of floor, that amount of floor with the area of a tile. Okay? And when we multiply the 0.0, and do remember here that 0.06 square meter is the area of the one tile. Okay, it is the area of a one tile, and we want to know that how much tiles are required to complete that floor. So we are going to multiply the total area of a floor by the area of a one tile. Okay, what we are doing, we are multiplying it by the area of a one tile, and when we multiply it area of a one tile, so we get that value, that is 11.52 tiles. So it's mean that 11.52 quantity of tiles are required to cover the area of a floor. Okay, that is the area of a floor. So how much tiles are required? That much amount of tiles are required to cover 192 meter square area of a floor. So I hope you will understand. I will repeat the process. Take a screenshot of this slide and I will repeat the process, that a floor is 16 meter long and 12 meter wide, and find the total number of tiles required to cover it if each tile is 0.3 meter long and 0.2 meter wide. So here what we have to do, we take the area formula of a rectangular region. First we find the area of a floor, then we find the area of a tile. And now what we have to do, we have to multiply area of the floor by the area of a one tile. So after that we will get the area of a number of tiles which is required. Now the second topic is about the volume. So what is volume? Can you tell me that what is volume? Volume is the volume of the cube with its sides, length S. Here we represent all the sides of a cube with its represent by the S, length, breadth and width. As you can see that here is the cube, and if we multiply all the sides of the cube, so here we get, again we get the cube of the square. So how we get the cube of the square? As you can see that we are multiplying s by s and s. So we have three variables and the exponent of the variables are 1. So if we multiply, if we add the exponents, the answer is 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So that's why we get a formula as the product of a three sides. When we multiply the sides of any square body, so we will get its volume. Volume is the product of length, breadth, and height. When a rectangular region get a height, it will become a cube. Okay, when a rectangular region get a height, it will become a cube. That's why we say that cube is a three-dimensional object and rectangle is a two-dimensional. Okay, we will move toward the examples of volume of a cube. Question number 1. Find the volume of the cube having the sides of length 7 centimeter. So the length of the sides of a cube is 7 centimeter. We know that volume of a cube, formula of a cube is given by the product of the three sides, that is s cube. So when we multiply s or we multiply 7 by the 3 times, we replace s by 7 and the exponent of the 7 is 3. So x base is 7 and its exponent is 3. And exponent show that how many times we have to multiply the base by itself. Okay, 7 cube means we have to multiply 7 by itself 3 times, means 7 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 7, and we will get the answer of 343 centimeter cube. So that's how we will get the volume of a cube. I again repeat that find the volume of the cube having the sides of length 7 centimeter. The length of the sides of the cube is 7 centimeter. As it is a cube, so it has all the three sides are equal in measure. Means it has length, breadth and height is of 7 centimeter because it is a cube. And to find the volume of the cube, what we have to do? We are multiplying length, multiply by breadth and multiply by height. So if we multiply 7 3 times by itself, why we multiply 3 times it by itself? Because it is a formula, it is a requirement of the formula. It has a cube as the exponent. And that's why we multiply 7 3 times by itself. So we get 343 centimeter cube. Okay, and again the unit of a volume is centimeter cube. And how we get a cube? Because we multiply centimeter 3 times. So we have to add this exponent of the centimeter. So when we add it 3 times, it will give the exponent of the centimeter will become 3. Okay, take a screenshot and then we will move further. Here's the example of the volume. That find the cost of the wooden cube at the rate of rupees 8 per cubic meter when length of one side is 2 meter. Okay, so here we have find the cost of a wooden cube at the rate of 8 rupees per cubic meter when length of the one side is 2 meter. So first we have to find the volume of a cube. Side is given, that is 2 meter. So one side is given, and when we place this side in the formula of a volume, so what we get? We have to multiply 2 by 3 times. Why we multiply 2 3 times? Because it's a cube and cube has all the three sides are of equal measure, and that's why length, breadth and height are of equal measure, that is 2 meter, and that's why we multiply it 3 times. And by the multiply it 3 times, the answer will be 8 cubic meter. So this is the volume of the cube. But what we have to find? We have to find the cost of the wooden cube. We don't have to find the volume, but we want to find the volume, because without finding the volume of a wooden cube, we cannot find its rate. Find the cost of a wooden cube at the rate of rupees 8 per cubic meter. So what we have to do, we have to multiply the volume by the per cubic meter. So that's why per cubic meter is 8, rupees 8 per cubic meter. So that's why we multiply volume by the rate, by its amount in rupees, that is 8, again 8. So that's why if we multiply these two quantities, the answer is 64 rupees. So take a screenshot of this slide and it will help you for doing your home task. I again repeat the process that what we are doing, we are just finding the cost of the wooden box, and to find the cost of the wooden box, we must know the total volume of a wooden box. So the total volume of a wooden box is 8 because we know the one side of the cube and that is 2 meter. So the wooden box, the volume of a total wooden box is 8 cubic meter. And at what cost we will get it? We will get it at the rate of rupees 8 per cubic meter. So we have to multiply the volume by the amount of rupees. We have to multiply volume of the cube by the amount of rupees or by the rate of per cubic meter. So when we multiply it with the rate of per cubic meter, so we will get the answer 64. Now here is the home task. Do exercise 13.2, question number 1, question number 3, and question number 6. You have to do in your fair copies. And do exercise 13.3, question number 1, part 1 and 3. And question number 9 and 10 as a whole. Question 1 have many parts, so you have to do only 2 parts on your fair copies. So I again show you all the slides so that you can take the screenshots. So here are the definition of a quadrilateral. So take a screenshot of this slide. Here is the properties of the quadrilateral. It is also given on your book. Here are the three definitions, shapes of the parallelogram, or we can say the kinds of a quadrilateral. It is the area of a rectangular region. These are the formula that how we transform the area in terms of breadth and length. Now it's example. Take a screenshot of this example. It will help you for doing your home task. Again, take a screenshot of this slide. It's a volume of a cube. It's a formula. Take a screenshot again. These questions will help you to do your home task. Okay, this again I'm showing the slides of home task. So do exercise 13.2, question number 1, 3 and 6, and do exercise 13.3, question number 1, part 1 and 3, and question number 9 and question number 10. So this is all from my side.